With the final shape coming out tomorrow, I thought I'd take the time to go over one of the builds I'm most excited to try when it drops, especially once I have more of the seasonal mods going. This build isn't prismatic, since I've already made a video about that already. No, this is taking full advantage of the newly buffed stasis subclass to turn what is already a good class into a possible meta contender once again. The Stasis Warlock. Now, to be clear, there's still unknowns in this build, and could come down to feel based on how it runs on things like cooldowns, timer durations, and more. So, just in case, I'll be presenting a few varying options to this build. So, if you try one next season and it doesn't quite feel right for you, you can swap to a different one and see if it feels better. For this build, out of the 6 aspects and fragments equipped, 5 of them are either changed or buffed. So this is going to be a very uniquely different playstyle from what we're used to. For a subclass, our aspects are Bleak Watcher for a stasis turret, and will be the main focus of the build. The second is Glacial Harvest, giving us stasis shards when we freeze targets, as well as granting stasis shards the ability to give us the new Frost Armor, which at base can stack up to 5 times, with each stack giving us 4.5% damage resist. For fragments, we have the Whisper of Chains and Rime combo, which previously gave us damage resist while standing near crystal, and to give an overshield when collecting stasis shards respectively. This isn't what it will do for us though. With the changes, both fragments now function to augment the Frost Armor buff effect, with Rime acting as a time dilation and charged up mod for the effect, making it last longer and hold more stacks in total, going from a base of 5 to 8 stacks. With max stacks of Frost Armor granting 36% damage resist itself. While stacking with the Guardian's base 30% from 10 resil, you have a consistent 55% damage resist. Yeah, damage stacking is weird. This also means that with a source of Woven Mail, either from a teammate or from weapon perks, we can push this even further to a 75% total damage reduction, which is pretty silly when you think about it, because we're on a class that specializes on reducing the amount of things that shoot at you, while we take 75% less damage. Whisper of Chains, on the other hand, will spawn a stasis shard while we're under the effects of Frost Armor. Well, at least give us a chance to, giving us more avenues to generate these in the build. The third fragment is also based around gaining Frost Armor, and is possibly the most consistent, yet also dangerous form of it we have. Whisper of Fractures will be updated, so when shattering a frozen target with a melee, we gain a stack of Frost Armor. With our Frost Armor generation secured, our last fragment will take advantage of it, and loop back into our turret setup, with Whisper of Torment, which not only is getting buffed, but will additionally gain a further bonus effect while under the effects of Frost Armor. For this section, it's still unknown how the Stasis Shard generation cooldown will affect your build, if it's tied to each ability or your kit as a whole. If you find yourself not generating shards as often as you think you should, Whisper of Chain would be my first suggestion for a fragment on the chopping block. I'd likely be swapping it out for Whisper of Fissures if this is the case, to further increase our shatter damage on top of the base shatter damage buff occurring in final shape as well. For armor, my pre-made build going into the DLC will be rocking the Eye of Another World helmet, as the free ability energy it grants my entire kit as it passively increases all of my ability regen rates by 50% is amazing. To quickly run down the rest of the armor mods, our helmet has the usual scouts and finders for team-wide ammo generation, as well as a harmonic siphon mod for orb generation with the stasis weapon I plan to use with this build. Our gauntlets have momentum transfer and bolstering detonation to passively charge our melee and class ability as our turrets consistently tag enemies. We have charged up for additional charge of light, and special ammo finisher to keep your team's ammo economy more healthy, and a time dilation for surge boot swaps for DPS to last longer. Better already and recuperation to make every orb you pick up a pseudo phoenix dive for healing, and a scavenger mod based on your power weapon burn type when running low reserve options like rockets, grenade launchers, and linears. Resist mods on the chest piece as you see fit, then a distribution mod on the class item to continue to generate a little bit more energy back while we sit next to frozen targets. To add on to the craziness of this build, coming next season we're getting a seasonal mod called Creeping Chill, which will make all stasis weapon final blows against enemies affected by a stasis debuff slow or freeze. They'll detonate with a slowing burst, similar to how Aegis Scepter does, though likely not freezing with one burst. But that got me thinking, what if there's a weapon that could fit perfectly with this? Thus, the Appetence? The Stasis Trace Rifle steps into the fray. Being stasis, it will work with the seasonal mod, and being a trace rifle, will have more than enough ammo to be used as a main add clear option. But it gets better. On top of that, it can get Demolitionist to remove reloads while we spam our turrets, and regain grenade energy for said turrets even faster when getting kills with it. For the second perk, I'm trying out Headstone first, in the hopes that when stacked with the seasonal mod, mass freezing will be possible for some crazy results. If that doesn't work, simply swapping to Killing Tally will also do just fine. For stats, start with the rule of thumb base 10 resilience. From there, get as high discipline as possible, then shuffle down your highest recovery, then intellect afterwards. Mobility isn't very helpful at the moment, and our melee energy will be fed back to us through stasis shards and armor mods. One last time, here's a screenshot of the build, and while I don't normally like using dim loadouts, I was asked to last time, so in the description you'll find a link there as well. Oh, and come final shape, I'll be live quite a bit over at twitch.tv/Arladouc, and will even be participating in the Twitch Rivals event for the Day 1 raid on Friday. So if you want to come say hi, strat steal, pick up some cool emblems, well, that'd mean a lot to me. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the DLC on Tuesday.